And we're live. Um, Welcome to the fifth episode of the series I'm putting together on YouTube. Hi, my name's Jordan. I'm a digital marketer that is set on helping creatives, artists, and entrepreneurs learn to thrive and compete effectively using digital marketing and traditional marketing tactics. 16 years experience now. And I've learned so many lessons, and spent a lot of time on entertainment platforms trying to build a community there, but YouTube is where I should have been this whole time. So thank you. And if you've watched this much so far, please make sure to like, share, drop a comment, and make sure you're subscribed and click the bell with the so you get all the notifications. Getting better with that, and I'm gonna keep it. I've said I'm gonna keep it short, four, like four times, and I've got some. This is going to be a good episode where I'm gonna hopefully give you some inspiration for turning your ideas into action. And it starts up here, and you're 100% in control of it. All right, so to me, for creatives and entrepreneurs, the essence and the most important thing of turning your idea into action is 100% speed. How long is it going to take you to take that idea and get to work on it? And when I say execute, it's not perfectly, but you've put a step in that right direction. Some people get lucky, other people work really hard for years and never give up. Which one are you? Are you trying to get lucky, or are you building a foundation for your brand? One of the important questions I implore you to ask yourself, and this is just from me, it's not from like a set question portfolio or whatever, but how much effort have you put into this life? How much effort have you put into this life changing idea? Is it life changing? Will it change your life dramatically? If the answer is yes, how much work have you put into it? Realistically, not how much have you thought about it, not how much have you wished about it or prayed about it. How much work have you actually put into this idea that's life changing? The only person holding you back, us back, is ourselves. Most of the time, especially when we're talking about turning ideas to action. It's easy to point the finger, um, but unless there's like a legit permit or like gatekeeper in the way, um, I can't hold any excuses for not executing on your ideas. And I know it's not easy. I know it's scary, but I can promise you that behind that fear is your greatest success. And I'd love to push you towards taking steps on achieving it. Please feel free to reach out. Email me at jtd526 at gmail.com. You can drop a comment. You can reach out to me on various methods of social media. Firstly, you want to give value, but you're not going to be able to give value until you understand value. And not just understanding your own value, but understanding the value of the market and your peers, colleagues, other people within your niche. What value are they given? And you'll see it often comes down to core philosophical notions like do daycares provide babysitting, or do they provide freedom for parents? Like is this restaurant providing really great chips and dip, or is this a hall for memories and connections? You really want to get to the nitty gritty of why your product, your service, your brand produces invaluable things consistently, and narrow down what you're really doing for them. Easier said than done. Please take your time. Do some research. Find out what others are giving in value and where you can take inspiration from that and apply it to your own brand. Here's a good question. Um, is your hourly rate determined by the state or your abilities, talents, and skills? I have an exercise. Oh, I just bit my tongue. Mm. Oh my God. Wow. I have a exercise that I do with clients. Just real. It's usually like one or two questions. How much are you worth an hour? You know, and people immediately, a lot of people immediately go to what the state's minimum wage is. They think that's the least amount of money they should be making, and that's not a correct reflection of your value to me. Really see how much you're worth in an hour, from your skills, talents, and gifts. Don't let other people determine your value. And nobody told you you're worth minimum wage. That's what the companies are paying. That's not your worth. That's not your value. Take some time, do some research, check out your market, and see where you fit in. Um, so one of my biggest ideas that I acted on was creating the publishing company Blacklight Visions. The original idea for Blacklight Visions was to make world renowned, prolific, iconic masterpieces across different artistic mediums, animation, comics, novels, games, tabletop games, etc. And then create workshops and camps that are dedicated to teaching the skills that we use to create these same prolific, iconic masterpieces to the youth so that they can um, learn, grow, network, and ideally, further themselves in their craft or trade. And it's not just for art, it could also be for entrepreneurship, to help somebody go from I don't know what to do to, okay, can you cut grass? They're like, yeah, I can cut grass. Here's a lawn. Let's get you a lawnmower. Let's figure out, and then how that would go from like I don't know what to do, but I can cut grass to having a booming landscaping company. Um, that it doesn't have to necessarily with Blacklight Vision. It didn't necessarily have to be just artwork. We also help people with figuring out the entrepreneurship because I would be using my background in digital marketing and consulting to help people that come to us. Um, yeah, that was the original idea, and I acted on it immediately because I researched the market. I saw the top producers, and I could see that if I acted now, I would essentially have a spot at the table in the future. And now we're pretty close to having a spot at the table on um, I'd like to say a world stage with the intellectual properties that we've been putting together. And it was not easy. It took a lot of teamwork, a lot of time, a lot of patience. And yeah, if I hadn't if I just kept that as an idea in my head, I would have never gotten as far as I have today. We have four intellectual properties, and we're in the best position possible to get them developed and fleshed out across different mediums. We just, of course, need more funds, um, but we have a remote team that works. And the funny thing about executing on this back in 2019, I originally was like, "Hey, we've got the technology to do this remotely," and everybody was like, "No, we can't. You have to have a studio. People have to. It has to be brick and mortar, and all this." I got a lot of pushback, and then the pandemic happened, and everybody went digital and remote, and we were ahead of the pack. And I've got all that documented and everything. We were ahead of the pack with the remote team development situation. Well, figuring it out anyway. And if I hadn't acted on that, we wouldn't have been ahead of the curve because we were across multiple time zones, and we had somebody in a different country. So it was like the time that we spent figuring that out helped us later down the line, and we wouldn't have never made it down the line if I hadn't acted on that idea in the first place. So listen, when I say speed, it might not, I'm not, uh, same day would be perfect, but when you have a great idea, you need to move, you need to act on it, you need to execute on it. You don't know how, fail and figure it out. But a lot of us are scared of that rejection, scared of letting ourselves down. And I'm here to tell you that's the path to your success is failure. Take the first step, fail forward. The setback is a setup for the comeback. All the little idioms or mantras, sayings that are, they're 100% based in fact. You have to go through that phase of figuring it out, in order to turn this idea, this plan, and to turn that idea into action, to a plan, to verb it. Um, it's not easy, and it should be one of the hardest things you did if this is a life-changing event for you. If it's life-changing, how hard should it be? Is this taking you away from, is this solving all your problems and everything? And you just, you're not putting a lot of work into it. I implore you to work as hard as you can on your idea, and it will, take you places, one way or another. Um, so while we were putting together Blacklight Visions, the initial idea was like, we're going to do this volunteer work because I couldn't pay everybody. So I was like, I need volunteers. People volunteered. And then our second generation, our second year into the company or into the project, we decided that we need more structure. We needed, I created a board. I got an LLC. We're having meetings. We're having development meetings. We're having all the meeting. We're having all the meetings. We're having all the meetings, and it was starting to come together. Then we're like, let's have a fundraiser, and we had a successful fundraiser. And even though we didn't raise as much as we needed for the intellectual property called Sugar Spice, sci-fi action comedy about three girls caught in the middle of defending our galaxy from an invading astral entity, like Charlie's Angels, Totally Spies type vibe. And we didn't raise enough money to finish our first issue, but we keep pushing forward, and we're so much further than we're so much further than we would have been if it had just been an idea. And it's where it's at right now. It's worth a lot. We could go to a network and get it made, you know, and that's we could sell it to a network right now, and that's amazing to me. And we wouldn't have got there without acting on that idea. Even though we don't have enough money to get it done, we now have a polished idea, and that polished idea turned into a plan, and now that plan has borne fruit, and from that fruit we're able to leverage Sugar Spice or any of our intellectual properties into a deal for the future that would improve the brand. Have to act. You have to act. Speed is of essence, and also consistency. Don't don't stress yourself about quality too much, because you can always come back and improve quality. Quality will improve with generations, not your intellect. It takes time. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna I'm gonna wrap up quickly today. I told myself more more eye contact. I'm looking at my other videos and I'm like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Oh. More eye contact, less touching of the face, and clear speech, clear words. All right. One of the most important things I picked up back in like high school, leadership skills that I learned in high school from internships and the programs we were in, came to help me tremendously during my action for putting together Blacklight Visions. And I learned, and even if you don't have a team, practice your leadership skills, develop them. It's very important. Even if you don't, if you're trying to do everything solo dolo, which I don't suggest, it will burn you out. You need a team, you need support. It's very few people that don't have a team, or they're a one man show. And, don't disillusion yourself with watching other people's progress, because you might see your favorite YouTuber or whoever, Instagram influencer, and think that they're doing all the editing and everything, and they're not. They have a team. They don't disclose it, but you might be trying to, fit their um, you might be trying to fit their blueprint, and it's not a one person blueprint at all. Looks like it, but it's not. Um, yeah, so the leadership skills that came in handy for me, and I suggest everybody learn some of them or all of them. Active listening. Let me start over. Here are the leadership skills that I learned that helped me turn my ideas into actionable plans while working in a team setting. One, active listening. Active listening allowed me to do more than hear. Most people, they hear. They hear you, um, they understand, they care, they're not being disrespectful, but they truly are not listening. Listening is a skill. Active listening is a leadership skill. To understand, to have the emotional intelligence to pick up on the cues that they're giving you, and also making a mental note to remember what they're talking to you about. You should be able to piece together their angle and their end goal within the conversation, and always, confirm, to make sure that they know that you're listening. They could drone on about calibrating a newspaper printer, and and you're listening, and then you recollect right in front of them, where you're like, okay, so you're telling me the toners go into the whatchamacallit automatically? And they're like, yeah, it goes into automatic. And you're like, oh, okay. Active, that's not a great example. That's not a great example. But similar, active listening is real important. Look it up, look into it. Two, I already said it, emotional intelligence, understanding how people are feeling without them telling you is very important. And when you're working with creatives, artists, content creators, and entrepreneurs, just from my experience, very emotional people, very emotional people. And I'm blessed to be in a niche where I can filter these emotions and still remain, professional, on point. But I can see where their emotions are hindering them, keeping them back, and putting putting that back into the plan is a part of figuring out where their emotions fit in their plan is due possible to having high emotional IQ. So yeah, active listening and emotional intelligence are very important. Please let me know if you have any of your own special skills that you feel can help as you take action on your ideas. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know in the comments down below. That's a bar. I'm gonna keep that one. Um, accountability. Number three, accountability. Accountability. The buck stops with you. This is your idea. People are. The buck stops with you. At the end of the day, if it's your idea, if it's your business, your brand, you are responsible for everything that happens. Or I'm sorry, not responsible. You are accountable for everything that happens. You're not responsible. Just like if you're employee, you work a pizza shop, your employee hits somebody in the head with a baseball bat. Um, your business is accountable for that, to a degree. And I'm not a lawyer, but that person would be responsible, and your job would be, and the job is accountable. I think accountability goes supersedes responsibility. Oh, I forget, but there's a great bar about something like that. Accountability is over responsibility, I think. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, the buck stops with you. Um, in Blacklight Visions, anytime something went wrong, I 100% transparency and accountability with everybody. Even whether it was failure, bumping heads, successes, 100% transparency with my team. And you, if you're not accountable, if you're not using emotional intelligence, if you're not transparent, if you're not listening to the people around you, and not just the people working for you, active listening also works for clients, peers, colleagues, mentors, mentees. If you're not if you're not being accountable, you're not working on your emotional intelligence, you're not being transparent, you're not active listening, things will erode from beneath you. It's that simple. Some people are so greedy, they think other people are motivated by the money, when actuality, they just want to be comfortable and happy, and they like working for you. But we don't see, a lot of people don't see it like that. We don't naturally come off like that. We want it to be an exchange of services, other than, as opposed to, we want it to be an exchange of services, like, hey, I give you this money that you do your job, when in reality it's more familial. I think that's the right word. It's more like a family, when you're working with businesses, creatives, it's more intimate than the rest of the world will have you know. But yeah, those words, active listening, transparency, emotional intelligence, accountability, they're not just buzzwords. They are lifelines and also can be core values, and that will ultimately help you um, action on your ideas. Um, so what I've got coming up, and I'm getting into the flow of the daily content. What I've got coming up, I'm working on this ebook, and then I'm going to be working on my courses and some tutorials for y'all. And I'm happy to get this out this month. And I want you to know I had the idea. It I had the idea, and I'm executing on it with as much speed as possible. Um, One thing I want to encourage y'all when you're building a foundation, it's baby steps, but it's consistent baby steps. Don't hurt yourself trying to do the most. Listen, in order to be actionable on your ideas, the most realistic and practical thing you can do is start small. And then, after you've mastered starting small, you will become medium. After you become medium, you work on medium, and then you will eventually become big. That is the way it works. That's the way it's been working for millennia. That's the way it's going to continue working. It's progression. It's little, medium, big. To think, because we see people go from zero to big because of the internet virality, to see that and think, oh yeah, I don't have to build a business with sticks and stones or brick. I don't have to build a business brick by brick. I can just go viral. I can just, do this and do that. And I promise you, that situation, what I've seen from people going viral, it pulls you more money, more problems, more eyes on you, more problems. Um, I don't talk about influencers or whatever. I don't like naming people, but there was one that recently, a lady went viral over the past couple months, and then she now potentially fighting felonies or yeah, it went from, hey y'all, everybody loves me, to now you're fighting felonies, or you might be fighting felonies because you did some ill-advised stunt, and everybody's been looking at you. All the eyes are on you. Um, it takes work. So start small, finish medium. Start medium, finish big. You're not. It's not practical to think I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go big by saying I'm going big. There are people that say I'm gonna go big and then don't do anything. What have you done to make sure you go big? Nothing. I can't stand people like that. And it sucks because it takes my time away from helping somebody like you that's interested in bettering themselves, interested in educating themselves, and aim to thrive in their talents, skills, and passion. I feel like they're wasting my time by being lazy, by what button do I have to click to make lots of money type mentality. And it's like, no, no. Or they think I'll get a digital marketer and then I'll make a lot of money. And it's like, yeah, that's super possible. But, it might take you paying me 3 months before your stuff starts to take off, especially if your stuff's not that good. I'm not going to get into that. All right. So, yeah, I've got the ebook, courses, and tutorial coming up this month. I'm going to be starting it this week after the ebook. Hopefully, I had the ebook done tonight. I finished editing and I'm just doing the design, but it's turning out taking a lot longer than I thought. I thought I could write an ebook in like a couple days. I honestly thought I could write an ebook in a couple days, and now it's going on a week, and I'm about 70% done. Um, but yeah, hey, look, action, y'all, speed. Um, yeah, so I'm going to be taking these daily videos that I'm going to make what I call, or what's called foundational content, where I'm going to take like a topic that I know everything that I'm knowledgeable on, and I'm going to make like a webinar tutorial or something, like a big piece of foundational content. And then from that, I'll make weekly videos that are probably specific about a skill. And then I'll take clips from the foundational content and the weekly, daily videos and turn those into clips and put those on different platforms. But I'm not going to get there without first making the foundational content, getting used to the daily videos, and now this is the 5th day. I'm doing pretty good. I'd like to see y'all try to execute on your plans as soon as possible. And also, thank you for watching the video. Please make sure to drop a like if you haven't already, subscribe, and make sure to click the notification. God, I almost had it. Please make sure to thanks for watching so far. Please make sure to drop a like, comment, and share this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and click the bell so that you get all the notifications. Is my face red? No, I don't think it's red. And so I looked at the screen, and then I'm looking away when I look at the screen. All right. So yeah, start small, finish medium, start medium, finish big. Stop thinking I'm gonna start small and then I'm gonna end big, and it's like you missed medium. You missed the 10 years of you figuring it out and then being set for the rest of your life. You know, if I told you right now, hey, if you spent the next two, and I showed you like through a crystal ball, like, hey, if you spend the next 2 years working on XYZ, and then like, you'd be successful for the rest of your life. And if you saw that, you'd be like, wow, I better start working on my brand. I better execute on my ideas. If you could see the future success from your actions, you would do more, you know? So take that, to me, take that chance, put the faith in yourself, push past your fear, and take action on your ideas. It's not easy. It can be life-changing. It can be the hardest thing you've ever done, but it is worth it one way or another. Lastly, and I'm wrapping up, don't do everything at once. Don't try to do everything at once. I said it earlier, but you see people's finished product, and don't compare yourself or your efforts to that, because I can promise you, comparison is a thief of joy. I can't remember if it's the thief or a thief of joy, but it is. Comparison will steal your joy. You know, focus on what you're doing, the steps that you're taking, and level yourself up incrementally. And we don't want to. We don't want to. We want wham, bam, boom, click, zap. That's what we want. We want the zap famous. We want the overnight sensation. But if you look and pay attention to these interviews, they will tell you that they worked for years on something, then they changed one thing, or one thing happened, and then boom, and then they were successful. Don't skip the first part where you're putting in the hard work. Otherwise, you're banking on getting lucky And that's disgusting. You know, like, don't bank. Getting lucky is getting lucky. There's nothing wrong with it. I have nothing against people that have gotten lucky and been, become successful. But you cannot come out the gate banking on that. You should bank on your talents, skills, and gifts, and build around them with a foundation based on those things, so that you can always come. You're never gonna get tired of it. Don't do the thing for money. Unless that. Well, no, not don't do the thing for money, but do the thing for money, but don't hurt yourself doing the thing for money, right? Something like that. Sorry for the faces. Um, I think I did. I think I only touched my face a couple times. But yeah, this was day 5. Just a brief insight on turning ideas into actions, some background on how I began Blacklight Visions, how quickly I took action, how I continue to take action, because it's been 6 years. This June will be 6 years, and if I hadn't have didn't done anything, I wouldn't have 3 intellectual properties. I wouldn't have Advent Wildfire Genesis. I wouldn't have Love Blurs, which I love Love Blurs. I think Love Blurs would be the um not better than the Boon. I would like to put it next to the Boondocks. I don't like. Yeah, I would put Love Blurs right next to Boondocks. And our third intellectual property is Sugar Spice. We also have another one, but that's in like NDA and all that stuff. Um, Actually, we have two more. But they're in NDA. But Sugar Spice, Love Blurs, and Advent Wildfire Genesis would have never come around if I hadn't taken action on my idea to build a prolific, world renowned publishing company that helps teach people how to use the same skills, um, and also help, have workshops for entrepreneurs, artists, creatives. Yeah, and it's been 6 years, and our mission and vision hasn't really changed at all, and I'm proud of that. I mean, it's probably evolved, but like we're still like create great things, teach great things, and work together. And if you ask anybody that's ever done anything with Blacklight Vision, it's like, yeah, it's it's great, but more money. They need more. We need more money. Like this year, I'm gonna try to get a grant and see. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna try to get a grant and see what we can do, because we have some amazing things lined up. But again, wouldn't have been able to be here today without taking action on those plans. Yeah, if I hadn't taken action, I wouldn't be here. I don't think this video would be happening right now if I hadn't taken action 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to remind y'all, you know, work on your listening, your skills. Let that idea be the thing that motivates you. Don't tell anybody. Just let it motivate you and take action on your ideas. Whether you sell soap, whether you do art, you do animation, whether you're trying to sell cars, whatever it is, take action. That's not a random idea. I think it's your success subconsciously pulling you in the right place. So yeah, make sure you do the right thing. Give value, understand your value, build your leadership skills, and take action with as much speed as possible on your ideas, and it will work out. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank y'all so much for following. If you've watched this far and you haven't already, please make sure to drop a like, uh, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you get all the alerts. Love y'all, and I will see you tomorrow. Love, peace.